All right, let's dive in. I see we have a few more people that came to the webinar today. So let's start with a thought-provoking question for you. Have a look and just see how this lands. Would you use baby wipes if you knew that they might disrupt the natural defenses of your baby's skin? Would you use baby wipes if you knew that they might disrupt the natural defenses of a baby's skin? Just let it sink in for a moment and have a thought what this provokes in you. Hello and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Sarah and I work as a freelance textile specialist at My Microbiome, and I have a background in textiles innovation. My Microbiome and me have been working for a few years now already, and I've co-created the textile certification process that you will be introduced to today. I have a background in innovation and textiles and a strong interest in the skin microbiome. Regarding today's agenda, we have about 30 minutes with each other, and I will introduce the importance of the human skin microbiome and why it matters. I know that some of you are from this field. We also have the interesting industry of textiles with us today, so we'll have a little bit of both. After, I will share with you some latest consumer and market research insights and why it is important for brands to actually start looking into microbiome certification and what kind of edge it could give you. I will share with you the topic about hygiene textiles and the skin microbiome, why we are all here today, and how these fields truly come together. After that, we identified a textile testing gap, which I will highlight for you, that is currently present when it's about skin compatibility in hygiene products. And after I look into the microbiome-friendly textile certification that we provide and offer as My Microbiome, I'll show you at the end some amazing examples of existing customers that have already certified their hygiene products with us. So we're in for quite some content, and as said before, there is a Q&A at the end, so perhaps write down all the questions that you have, and I'm happy to answer them. Afterwards, we will also have other members of My Microbiome present if there's any special questions that we can answer for you. All right, let's dive right in. The human skin microbiome and why it matters. Our largest organ is colonized by a diverse milieu of microbes, and they are forming the microbiome, most of which are harmless and even beneficial to the host. And together with the skin, these microorganisms, they form a defense system to protect our body. I know many of you might know it, but perhaps this is something new as well for some of you. And the skin microbiome plays a really important factor in educating our immune system, which is linked to many areas of human health. And various factors actually influence the composition and the state of the microbiome throughout our life. But if we pin it down to the key roles, the skin microbiome is an invisible to the human eye, but an essential ecosystem, and it plays a big role in our immune defense, our moisture balance, and our barrier function of the skin. So really maintaining this overall skin health and resilience. But there are also parts that actually disrupt the skin microbiome, so external factors. Of course, we have internal factors as well, but as we're talking about external factors here today, I would like to emphasize on, for example, harsh cosmetics in skincare, frequent washings with detergents that, for example, strip away the beneficial bacteria that is there, but also textiles in intimate care. They are often treated with antimicrobial finishes, and they may kill good bacteria along with the bad. So now let's look a little bit at textiles, and we are constantly surrounded by them. We clothe ourselves, we use feminine hygiene products, we use washcloths, Our babies wear baby diapers. They are exposed to baby wipes throughout the day. So we expose ourselves and our skin to textiles every day, and sometimes even multiple hours a day or overnight. So how do we safeguard what is already on our skin while we provide these functional benefits that these hygiene products give us? Let's have a look at the current research and market trends. As we look at consumer behavior, we really identify a key shift that is becoming clear. This is information that has been researched by WGSN, Market Leader, and Trend Research Institute. But we see that consumers are no longer separating body health from environmental health. There's this interconnectedness. You see that consumers are actively seeking products that align with wellness, sustainability, and ethics. For intimate care, there's a study claiming that 36% of consumers say that the vaginal microbiome health matters. There were some highlights by Mintel. There's a growing demand for solutions that are not only good for the body, but actually also responsible for the planet. And at the same time, we see that there's a term coming up called moral injury, which could imply a sense of guilt or distress when individuals are not able to afford or access sustainable options, even if they want to make ethical choices. And for brands, this actually creates an amazing opportunity. So those that offer certified and trustworthy solutions enable something that we call clear conscience purchase. So these brands, they do not only build brand loyalty, but they also become these symbols of integrity in the eyes of the consumer. Second, science-based and transparent certification is becoming essential in a post-greenwashing era. And I'm sure many of you can resonate when I'm speaking about this post-greenwashing or even green hushing era that we find ourselves in. Consumers are no longer satisfied with vague claims. They want verifiable and evidence-backed data. There's a little bit of background noise, so perhaps if you could just double check if there's any microphone on, and if you could turn that off, we would all be very thankful. All right, so regarding the evidence-backed data, this is actually where microbiome-friendly testing steps in. It provides this additional layer of scientific credibility that today's consumer is looking for. In fact, it's 59% of consumers, they trust brands more than governments to drive innovation. So what that means is certification, it's not just a label. It's actually a strategic investment to build trust, ensure transparency, and differentiate your brand in an eco-accountability driven market. Now, let's reframe this even further. Let's look from product impact to ecosystem stewardship. Perhaps that's a term you would like to write down. The wellness space is shifting towards prevention and ecological harmony. So consumers are responding to brands that actually blend ancient wisdom with modern science, supporting the natural's body systems and not just overriding them. And fourth, future innovation will be shaped by planet-centric and body-centric design. And I've said this already in the beginning. We are looking at an environment that is being seen as an interconnected ecosystem. And I would say, and as well as this research, is that brands that really embrace this dual perspective, so caring for your skin health while caring for the planet, it will resonate most strongly with future consumer profiles. So in short, personal well-being and planetary care, they are no longer separate domains. They are part of the same value system. All right, now let's dig a little bit into what that means for hygiene textiles and the skin microbiome. And let's explore the hidden layer of hygiene textiles, what's added to them, and how those additions might unintentionally interfere, with our skin's microbial balance. Many hygiene products, whether used in baby care, intimate care, or even medical settings, they feature textiles enhanced with specific functions because they are also needed. These might include moisture management, odor control, and antimicrobial properties. We see new developments showing a trend towards finishes with prebiotics or probiotics. And some of these products we will actually show at the end of the presentation. While these functional hygiene textiles and these features actually serve some very practical purposes, we now understand more and more that they interact with our skin in more complex ways. So what very recent research is showing that so-called functional textiles, they don't just sit on the surface. They subtly shape the skin's microbial environment. In some cases, they can lead to changes in microbial diversity, particularly encouraging certain growth in bacterial species that are normally less dominant. But the shifts aren't uniform, and they really depend on where the textile touches the body, and they even differ between individuals. So in short, these effects are biologically variable and very much under-monitored. And chemical treatments designed to kill bacteria, such as antimicrobials, they may not discriminate between harmful and beneficial ones, so potentially causing imbalance, irritation, or discomfort over time. However, research in this area is still very much in its infancy. But what if we consider looking closely as the textiles are sitting against the skin, sometimes for hours or overnight? There's a proximity. There's your textile and your skin. They are touching each other for a prolonged time, and this proximity opens the possibility for certain compounds, such as dyes, softeners, and antimicrobials, to actually pass through the skin barrier. While this transdermal absorption is not fully understood yet, it raises critical questions. Are these chemicals safe long-term? How do they affect vulnerable populations like infants or people with skin sensitivities? So current evidence suggests that we need to look more closely on how these substances behave on textiles and how they behave on the skin while the textile is worn or interacted with. Protecting the skin's ecosystem means maintaining microbial diversity, avoiding disruption, and looking at the beneficial bacteria and being able to support the skin's natural chemistry and also the lipid balance. So it is crucial to respect the differences based on body size. The skin barrier and its microbiome are very sensitive, especially in babies where it's actually still developing. And frequent hygiene products, they can reduce microbial diversity on that skin site. And it may increase bacteria that is linked to conditions like eczema or acne. Sensitive skin populations are especially vulnerable. And one study even links organic solvents in sanitary pads to potential health risks. But we still lack research in the long term to determine the effect of textile finishes. So if we look at, if you want to safeguard the skin microbiome, hygiene textiles should combine functionality and biological integrity. And I want to differentiate a little bit because I can imagine many of you that come from the textile industry might ask, hey, we actually do look at skin compatibility. We do look at safety of chemicals. But what I would like to emphasize is the current test methods and what is actually missing. So most industry standard testing protocols, they focus on service level safety and functionality. So we test whether a fabric causes irritation, whether it holds up in the wash, whether it meets performance claims like moisture management or antimicrobial action. We can assess comfort. We can actually look how it feels on the skin, if it's breathable, soft, non-abrasive. These are all important, of course, but there's something crucial missing from this picture. What current methods don't measure is how textiles interact with the skin's microbiome, so the most outer layer of our own ecosystem, which is complex and a living layer of microorganisms that plays such a foundational role in skin health. This means that a textile could technically pass every required safety and performance test, but still disrupt the skin's microbial balance in ways that are invisible short-term, but potentially harmful over time. So this is where Microbiome's textile certification comes in. We recognized that there was this gap and developed a dedicated testing standard for it, specifically evaluating how a textile impacts the microbiome of the skin. We look at the quality, the balance, the vitality of microbial communities after textile contact. And this is particularly relevant for hygiene textiles, what we're talking about here today, which we often, here we use a lot of bioactive features, and microbial agents, moisture-wicking layers, maybe even herbal extracts. So these components, they may be beneficial in theory, but unless they're tested for microbiome compatibility, we can't be sure they're not doing unintentionally harm. Now let's dive a little bit on how microbiome-friendly textile certification actually works. And I won't go in too much detail. Of course, if you have more detailed questions, we're very happy to answer them at the end. We use a scientific in vitro testing approach to measure textile impact on the skin microbiome. First of all, we look at that the textile is actually sterile before microbiome testing. Afterwards, we have a balance test, and we see if the textile disrupts the ratio of the most common beneficial versus pathogenic bacteria, and this always depends on body site. So for example, in our vaginal standard, this would be the Lactobacillus crispatus versus the Gardnerella vaginalis as the pathogenic. So we really look at, is there anything that disrupts this balance when these two key species for that particular body site come in contact with the textile? Then we have the diversity test. This is where we measure whether a textile maintains microbial diversity for different skin areas. So again, depending if this is a product that is perhaps used in the vaginal area, we would look at the microbial diversity that is present there and bring it into contact with the textiles for a certain period of time. And the fourth test is the vitality test, where we look to ensure that the textile does not negatively impact the growth or the survival of key microbes. So here the microbes are tested individually to see how they are reacting. And also here again, it all depends in terms of which microbes we would test, which skin site the end product will be used in or will be impacted. So if you have something like a hat, for example, that you're using on your head, it's a very different skin site compared to the vaginal microbiome. Just to summarize a little bit in terms of testing, we only claim something to be microbiome friendly if we have the less impact is the better. So We choose also in vitro testing, which is inside of a lab where we take these microbes and we're able to really amplify and see in a very direct way if there's anything that these microbes are not able to withstand. And if they do withstand the test in the lab, we can be sure that it actually withstands the test when you are wearing this garment or come in contact with it on the skin. So that's the difference between the in vitro and in vivo testing as well. Regarding in vivo testing, it would be on the person, and doing test standard on so many different people would be very, very difficult. So actually, it was a very conscious choice to develop this in an in vitro testing approach. And this is the steps that we take towards that. Here we have some examples of our great customers that have already jumped on the train to certify their amazing products with us. And we're very happy to present to you the tampon, which is the first microbiome-friendly certified tampon. It's by the company Wild, and as you can see, they're working with seaweed fibers. There's some organic cotton on the string used, and they have been tested with our standard for the vaginal microbiome, and they have passed. And this is perhaps also a nice link to our website. Have a look of all the products that we have certified. You can find a really great overview, and we are just getting started. Here you see the company Baya. This is a very interesting product as well, as it is a sanitary napkins, so used in the vulvo area. This is the vulvovaginal standard. Here, natural silk has been used, and the specialty is that female probiotics and prebiotics are added to the surface here. So this is the product as well that I would like to highlight, where a prebiotic and probiotic finish has been used on the textile, which is passing our microbiome-friendly procedure. Then we have an amazing company, Nera, and they have certified their exfoliating glove. So here is an example of a wellness textile more. They're using a cellulose fiber, and it's also the first microbiome-friendly certified glove that you can find, and you'll be able to buy it on their website. Here, as you can see, we have used a different standard, which is the face and body microbiome standard, as this particular product will be used on the face and body. Here's a company, Cottonic, our customer, that is using 100% chemical-free and got certified organic cotton. They have passed their vulvovaginal standard of their complete range of bikini briefs and other thongs and briefs in their assortment. Have a look at their website. I would say these are all quite forward-looking and innovative companies to create or to obtain certification in the microbiome friendliness field. And the newest one in our hygiene products that we have certified is, and I'm sure many of you perhaps know this company that are from the textile industry. So Thermography perhaps rings a bell. It's the vaginal health undergarment. Also here, an amazing probiotic textile finish with lactobacillus, passed our standard and can be claimed as microbiome friendly. All right, now let's look a little bit at our key takeaways. We have 5 minutes left in today's webinar. What I would like you to take with is that the skin microbiome is essential for skin health and to our immune system. It plays a really vital role, and it's important that we do protect it. Current textile testing is very broad for hygiene products, but it overlooks the skin microbiome contact, and that's a fact. Probiotic use is on the rise in hygiene textiles, and they're really gaining momentum. There's various brands that are really at the forefront of this. Perhaps you also know the company by Rosie Broadhead. She is a developer in the field, creating, using probiotics in her garments as well. Have a look at that. And just again, our certification ensures that these hygiene products safeguard the skin microbiome. And when we mean safeguard, we would like to have them to have a less impact as possible. So to actually keep what is there. My Microbiome offers the globally only registered certification mark. We're registered in over 40 countries, and brands can really differentiate their product with our Microbiome certification. And if you have any more questions, also specific ones, I'm happy to open the floor to you. You are able to write it in the chat if you like. You're able to speak however you like. You're very welcome. And if not, you are invited to send an email to my colleague Hedy at check@microbiome-friendly.com in case you would like to get your product certified. And if you'd like to have this webinar sent to you and the slides, you are welcome to reach out.
So we do have one question by James. Thank you for the informative webinar. What are your thoughts about including probiotics in hygiene textiles? It's in the chat, Sarah. So can we agree that they would be both beneficial and innovative?
I think we see a rise that many companies want to use probiotics, and we see that it passes our standard in some cases. I would say it can be innovative. There are many claims that are made that is beneficial to the skin, but as I'm not a skin expert, I won't be making that claim. But we do see that there is a shift when we look at antimicrobials to more probiotic and actually bioactive finishes in the textile field. Yes. Let me just see what you write, actually. Yeah, I can imagine regarding the regulatory obstacles, perhaps you should contact also the ones that have already launched in this field to see how they did it. I'm not able to advise there, unfortunately. I hope that helps.
So I think from the about the regulatory obstacles that James asked about, it depends on which product it is and if and which country is being used. So I know that in the US, everything female hygiene, like tampons and female hygiene, like used for menstrual cycles, for menstruation, that's regulated as a medical device. And here it's not as easy to implement probiotics, but if you're going to Europe or Asia, well, I'm not so sure about Asia, but I think it's also working fine, but Europe, no problem at all. So you can implement them and there's no regulation on that. Of course, you must be careful with the claiming and have proven clinically what you're claiming. But yeah, so only be careful about, hygiene products in general in the US. So we've seen some products that contain probiotics and we were seeing really good results in the lab as well. It's very easy for the vaginal area because here the microbiome is not as complex as in the other body areas because we're looking for an increase of lactobacilli at any time. And if the probiotic or any other pre or postbiotic that is implemented in a textile is leading to the increase of lactobacilli, of the good lactobacilli, then this is a good thing. It wouldn't be the same on the skin because here you rather create an imbalance by having one microbe increasing and overgrowing the others, but not in the vaginal area. So that's a great area actually to implement probiotics. And,
I see that there are some comments also regarding, I see here baby wipes. Jill actually has sent something in the chat. There are many chemicals interfering with the microbiome. I would say for many, we actually don't know how they're interfering. it could be that there is an interference, but it would be,
Yes.
I mean, amazing if they would start testing with us so that we can actually create that claim for them.
But Jill, you're right. It's really like I'm a mother and I'm standing in front of those shelves with the baby articles, and not only the wipes, but like a lot of other baby products contain a lot of harmful ingredients. And now that we've tested so many products and I know which ingredients at which concentration, of course, it always depends on the concentration, but still you have an eye for the right and the wrong ingredients. And it's horrible actually what you can find in baby products. So you're right. So, and there's also some wipes that we've tested and didn't pass. So yeah.
There's one thing I would like to get into actually as well, what Gautam was saying in the chat regarding post-wash, the probiotics would not be there. If you're, for example, using, you know, a hygiene wipe for your face or so, yes, it's a one-time use, and the contact of your skin might not be as prolonged. However, if you are continuously using always that wipe, you do have this prolonged use, right? So if it were one that has specific chemicals that were used in the process of creating that product, you will be exposed to that in a longer time. So I just wanted to answer that as well.
Yes, and I think what Gautam also meant was having like underwear that is being washed if the probiotics would stay. And so as far as I know, I have the information from thermography that the probiotics last for about 30 washes, if I remember correctly. And we do wash the clothes if they are reusable. We wash them once according to the manufacturer's instructions in the laboratory, or if it's one-time use, we are sterilizing them with UV because we have to make sure that they're not contaminated or not overgrown with certain strains that will interfere with the testing. But it's, of course, a great question. I had this question actually too when I talked to our client. It was like, okay, we're washing it. Are they staying on that garment? So yeah, that's a good question.
And we also have some good role models for baby wipes, like water wipes, which we certified successfully.
Yeah.
Yeah, is there anyone else that perhaps has a comment or a question, or there's something that might not be clear for them?
Yeah, James is just asking, so he's just writing.
Okay. James is writing. I'm waiting for his question.
Yes,
And you can also
raise
talk,
your
like
hand
you can turn on your
and
cameras.
talk to us. Yes, just raise your hand and talk to us. Or
Yeah,
just switch off
I
your
muted some of the, because they were on. Let me check if I can.
Yeah, let's unmute them.
Yeah, good point. There are laundry detergents that also have probiotics, so you would be able to infuse that again.
Heidi, you're raising your hand.
No, I was just trying.
And just make sure that no one's muted who should not be muted anymore. I did mute some people earlier.
Thanks, Christina and team. I have to jump here now, but really interesting and delighted to hear about water wipes. Thank you. I work for them, so we're very, very pleased with you.
Great, thanks, Jill.
Yeah. So we did not certify water wipes according to the textile standards. That's why we did not mention them here, but they got certified by our cosmetic standard and they passed very well.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks a million. We'll talk again. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Jill. Yes, Tania, washing can be done, but it depends on the technology the product is using. Must always check back with the manufacturer who's selling the product.
Yeah,
but it's possible.
Yeah, if somebody of you wants to receive the presentation or the recording by Sarah, just drop me an email by check@microbiome-friendly.com or just leave your email address here in the chat.
That sounds good. All right. Thank you all for coming. And with that, I would conclude today's webinar. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you had a little bit of an input and felt inspired. Thanks for attending, and I wish you an amazing day, no matter where you are, as we are coming from different time zones, I assume. And I speak to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Yep. Tessa is writing.
Can we stop the recording?
Is nog iemand drin?
Yes,
Ja.
I stopped the recording.
Oh, it's still running.
No, I stopped it.
I
Well.
started it again because I wanted to stop it.
know. Oh,
I'm sorry.
oh no. Hopefully we will not have mixed it up now.
Jetzt sind wir
No.
zu viert.
Ja, Sophie, du kannst wieder reinkommen. Beenden.
Ja, super, Sarah. Hast du super toll gemacht.
War schön.
Sehr
Sehr
schön.
schön, ja.
Ja,
Ganz
was
toll.
gut.